So I have some tempered hardboard here, and I like using tempered hardboard because it's just not heavy. Super light. Also, it's very cost effective. So I got about a 8 foot by 4 foot square of it for like $9, and then at Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever you go, you can get them to cut it for you. So I got them to cut it into the 1 by 1 squares right here, 1 foot by 1 foot, and then these are 1 foot by 1/2 foot. And then what I'm gonna do is paint them with some chalkboard paint, and I'm gonna do some variation. I have some white, I have some gray, and I have a couple of colors, and I'm just gonna give them all one nice even coat and leave them out here to dry. Alright, so everything has a top coat on it. You see I did some whites, I did green and blue. I didn't do a gray one yet, I just can't decide, but later you'll see that finished product. So I did a light top coat. I'm going to let them dry for about 15-20 minutes, and I'm going to come back and put another coat of paint on top. Alright, so I have all of the boards finished and they're dry. This is a 2x2 piece. I just want to make sure there's nothing on it. And I'm going to take this stencil that I pulled the pieces out and just lay it flat. The stencil is also 2x2, which is perfect. Just line it up and make sure everything is straight. Then I'm going to be using this gray chalkboard paint. So what I'm going to do so that everything is nice and controlled, I'm going to pour this onto a paper plate. And there's a little bit of white on here because I used this earlier, but no biggie. Just going to make sure not to get in it. So about a little dollop, that should be enough. And I'm going to take a daughter sponge, and that's what I'm going to use to apply this. So you just want to make sure you get your sponge coated, and then, oops, and then pat it so you wipe away some of the stuff. The big thing to focus on when you're doing stencils is to not use too much paint, and then also use a big enough sponge to where you're not like getting in the crevices. So we've got it like on here and everything is set, and then you want to make sure that you hold it down so that everything is nice and tight, and then you're just going to do up down pats right on top of the letters, and just make sure that you're getting everything nice and filled in. So this has a lot of turns in it. I'm a little worried once we get up to that ampersand, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm just pressing in nice and firm, making sure I get all the pieces of the letter. And I want to use up all this paint on the sponge before I get some more. Just like that. So, okay, so I'm going to reload, work my way up, and I'll come back when it's all finished. Alright, groovy. So everything is covered in the gray chalkboard paint, and it's time for the big reveal. So let's see how it went. Ah! Perfect. Soup's cute. I'm going to set this up so you can see it without that glare. How beautiful, yeah? So now we're just going to let it dry. And then we're going to put a border on it, which I'm really excited. I'm actually kind of thinking white border would just make this really pop. Maybe some floral. You know I love a good floral. So stay tuned. All right, so back at it with the signs. Everything has dried, and we're gonna put this border on. So I just wanted to kind of set it to make sure I have everything where I wanted it. What I'm using for borders, so this was a piece of 10-foot, what do you call it, like wall border? And I went to Lowe's and I had them cut it down for me, and then I just stained it with coffee colored stain, and I use a gel stain. I really like how it took, and I measured it to the size of my sign. One thing you want to keep in mind, depending on the thickness of the wood that you're going to be using for the... Sorry about that, my phone was ringing. What I was saying was, depending on the thickness of the wood you use, when you're doing your measurements of the perimeter, you want to remember that, so this is a 1 foot by 1 foot piece of board, and to do my border pieces, they're not all 1 foot by 1 foot. So these two outer pieces are both 1 foot, but a 1/2 inch is how thick this is. So in 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch, I take off an inch, which means this is an 11 inch. So whatever piece you're going to be working with, just think about that when you are measuring out to get stuff to make your border. So got my pieces, they're stained, nice and dry. The frame is dry, all the paint, and I'm going to be using this liquid nail. Can you see that? There we go. I'm going to use this liquid nail, and I'm going to be putting it on the perimeter of here. Things to think about when you're doing this: don't get too close to these outer edges, nor this these edges here, because it's going to spread when you push it down. So keep it fairly thin and just try to work directly in the middle. My hand's a little bit wobbly, but I think we should be okay. I'm going to stop about right there. Know where I'm going to place it. Give it a little pushy push. And groovy. So I'll do the same with this piece. And then I'm also going to put a little bit on this corner here. Just literally one dab. And then lay the other side down. Gonna bring it down some because it's gonna be easier to do the top versus trying to do this other side and then sliding this guy in. So more in the middle. And then I'm gonna hit both corners of this. And set this at the top. And then also a little dabby here. And I did get a little bit of glue on this bottom part on the inside, so I'm just taking a Q-tip and I'm going to clean this up. Okay, awesome. And so let's set it up. All right, and so this is done. What I'm gonna do as it dries, I'm gonna sit another sign on top of it, and then I'm going to place some books on it so it'll be heavy and just kind of push this frame down even more. And then this is just a finished sign that I did that I don't think I'm gonna frame. It was a practice sign, but it's been fantastic for these because it's the exact same size, so I can lay it down and then place books on top. And this is just gonna help that dry, everything be flat, everything stay in place and not potentially move. But I have a couple that are finished, so I'll show you guys those. So here are some that are finished. How cute. Cutie, cute, cutie. And here is a smaller version. Like, how fun. And so you can add whatever pieces you want to the back so that you can hang them. They make really, really great gifts. Like, very simple, easy to make, not crazy expensive. But they look beautiful. Like, it's such a great wall piece. You can kind of put it anywhere. I don't think, but thank you guys so much for watching. Like, I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this craft. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Let me know in the comments if you want to see some more crafts, if you make some more cool shit. Love y'all. More videos on the way. Like, subscribe, share with your homies, and make sure you follow me on Instagram @TivSaysGo. And I will see y'all on the flip side.